Los Angeles, California, September 12th, 1997, 11:47 p.m. A house party is winding down in Compton. Music plays, people laugh. 6 men stand in the kitchen, but they're not drinking. They haven't touched alcohol all night. While everyone else gets loose, these 6 stay sharp. They check their watches. They make small talk. They wait. To anyone paying attention, they're just old friends catching up. Childhood buddies from the neighborhood. Nothing special, nothing suspicious. And that's exactly the point. Because in less than an hour, these 6 men will walk into one of the most secure cash facilities in America and walk out with $18.9 million. But right now, they're just faces at a party. Alibis in the making. The man checking his watch most often is Alan Pace III, 32 years old, Compton born and raised. To look at him, you'd see nothing remarkable. Average height, average build. The kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes after meeting him. But Alan Pace has spent the last 2 years becoming the most dangerous kind of invisible. The kind that walks through security checkpoints, photographs vault doors, and memorizes guard rotations while everyone around him sees nothing but a guy with a clipboard. Because until yesterday, Alan Pace was a regional safety inspector for Dunbar Armored. His job was simple. Walk through Dunbar facilities, identify security vulnerabilities, write reports, file paperwork. To the guards and drivers and managers, he was just the safety guy. Background noise. The man who reminded them to wear their reflective vests and keep fire extinguishers charged. Nobody paid attention to the safety guy. Nobody watched where his eyes went. Nobody noticed what he was really doing. And what he was really doing was planning the largest cash robbery in American history. For months, Alan walked those halls with a purpose nobody suspected. He photographed every camera angle. He timed the security sweeps down to the second. He studied which guards took lunch at what time, who was lazy about checking credentials, who would look the other way for an extra bathroom break. He made copies of keys. He drew floor plans from memory. He learned that Friday nights were special because Friday nights meant the vault stayed open late. Too much cash moving in and out. Too much volume to keep locking and unlocking. On Friday nights, the vault door stayed wide open until morning. Alan Pace knew every weakness in the system, because finding weaknesses was literally his job. And Dunbar had plenty of weaknesses. Cameras with blind spots, guards who took predictable breaks, a vault that stayed open on the busiest nights because efficiency mattered more than security. Alan documented all of it, not in his official reports, of course. Those stayed clean, professional, forgettable. The real documentation lived in his head and in notebooks he kept hidden at home. But here's the thing about Alan Pace. He didn't wake up one day and decide to become a thief. He woke up one day and realized he'd been invisible his whole life. Grew up poor, worked hard, did everything right. And where did it get him? A clipboard and a company polo. Walking past pallets of cash that could change his life, his family's life, his children's lives forever, while making just enough to cover rent. He watched armored trucks roll out carrying more money than he'd earned in 10 lifetimes. He filed reports that nobody read. He made suggestions that nobody implemented. And somewhere along the way, something shifted. He stopped seeing vulnerabilities to fix and started seeing vulnerabilities to exploit. The day before the robbery, Dunbar fired him. Caught him tampering with company vehicles. They didn't know why. They didn't know what he was planning. They just knew something was off. So they let him go, handed him his last paycheck, wished him luck. Alan Pace walked out of that building with his keys still in his pocket. His access codes still active. His knowledge still intact. Dunbar had just fired the one man who knew exactly how to rob them blind. Now it's 12:30 a.m., September 13th. The party is over. The 6 men drive separate routes to the Dunbar facility on Mateo Street in downtown Los Angeles. Alan's heart pounds, but his hands are steady. He's rehearsed this 1,000 times in his head. Every step, every second, every contingency. He approaches the side entrance. The key still works. Of course it does. Nobody thought to change the locks. Nobody thought the safety guy was a threat. He slips inside and holds the door for his 5 childhood friends. They're wearing ski masks now, carrying pistols, a shotgun, radio headsets. But no one's planning to fire a shot. Violence draws attention. Violence leaves evidence. Tonight is about precision. Alan leads them through the corridors he knows by heart. Past the cameras he's already mapped. Into the employee cafeteria where guards take their lunch breaks. And then they wait. The first guard walks in at 12:34 a.m. He's thinking about his sandwich, maybe his wife, maybe the game he's missing. He's not thinking about the men in ski masks until one of them is already behind him, pistol pressed to his spine. Don't move, don't speak, get on the ground. The guard complies. He's trained for this. Cooperate and survive. One by one, the guards filter in for their breaks. One by one, they're subdued. Zip ties, duct tape, faces down. No one is hurt. No one is threatened beyond what's necessary. Alan's crew moves like they've done this before, and in a way, they have. In Alan's living room, on hand-drawn maps, in whispered conversations over beers. They've rehearsed this moment until it became muscle memory. By 12:47 a.m., every guard in the facility is restrained. The vault stands open, waiting. Alan walks into that vault and sees what he's dreamed about for years. Pallets of cash, wrapped, stacked, organized by denomination. He knows exactly which. Bags to grab. The hundreds, the 50s, non-sequential bills that can't be traced. He ignores the 1s and 5s. Too bulky, too heavy, too suspicious. He's done the math. He knows what fits in a U-Haul. His crew works fast, loading bags, carrying them out the service entrance, stacking them in the truck. Alan walks to the security office and takes the recording devices. No footage, no faces, no evidence. Just empty tape reels where proof used to be. By 1 a.m. they're done. 30 minutes. That's all it took. 30 minutes to steal $18.9 million. The largest cash heist in United States history. The U-Haul pulls away from Mateo Street. The 6 men split up, return to their lives, go home to their families, kiss their sleeping children, and wait. The next morning, police arrive at the Dunbar facility to find guards still zip-tied on the floor. The vault gutted, the security footage gone. Detectives immediately suspect an inside job. Too clean, too precise, too much knowledge of the facility's operations. They pull employee records, they run background checks, and one name keeps coming up. Alan Pace, fired the day before. Access to every corner of the building. Intimate knowledge of security protocols. The FBI brings him in for questioning. They press him for hours. Where were you Friday night? At a party? Who can confirm? 30 people. What do you know about the robbery? Nothing. I was fired, remember? They have no evidence, no witnesses, no footage. The only physical evidence from the entire scene is a single plastic taillight lens from a U-Haul truck. That's it. No fingerprints, no DNA, no shell casings. Nothing that connects Alan Pace or anyone else to the crime. Alan Pace walks out of that interrogation room a free man. The FBI knows he did it. Alan knows they know. But knowing isn't proving, and proving requires evidence they don't have. For 2 years, Alan Pace lives in quiet triumph. He doesn't buy a mansion, doesn't purchase a fleet of cars. Doesn't take trips to Vegas or show up at clubs throwing cash around. That's how amateurs get caught. Alan Pace is not an amateur. He waits 6 months before touching the money at all. 6 months of living exactly the same as before. Same apartment, same car, same routine. Let the heat die down. Let the FBI move on to other cases. Let the world forget about the safety inspector who might have robbed Dunbar. When he finally starts spending, he does it carefully. Front companies, real estate investments, cash businesses that can explain sudden prosperity. His crew does the same. Slow, patient, invisible. But crews talk, and money corrupts patience. Eugene Lamar Hill, one of the original 6, decides to invest in real estate. Good idea. Smart move. Except when it comes time to pay his broker, Eugene hands over a stack of cash still wrapped in the original Dunbar currency straps. The broker looks at that money, looks at those straps, and picks up the phone. The FBI arrests Eugene within days. Under interrogation, he breaks. Names Alan Pace, names every member of the crew, names the plan, the execution, the aftermath. One stack of marked bills undoes 2 years of perfect crime. Alan Pace is arrested in 2001, convicted, sentenced to 24 years in federal prison. His childhood friends receive similar sentences. The heist that was supposed to set them free puts them all in cages. But here's what haunts investigators to this day. Of the $18.9 million stolen from Dunbar Armored, only a fraction was ever recovered. Some estimates say less than $1 million, others say 2 or 3. But the math doesn't work. The properties they purchased, the businesses they started, the lifestyles they lived, none of it accounts for $18.9 million. Which means somewhere, somehow, most of that money is still out there. Alan Pace served his time. He was released in October 2020. Walked out of federal prison a free man for the first time in nearly 2 decades. And here's the thing about Alan Pace. In all those years, through all those interrogations, all those appeals, all those conversations with prosecutors offering reduced sentences for information, he never revealed what happened to the missing millions. Neither did any member of his crew. $12 million vanished into thin air. $12 million that could be buried in a backyard in Compton, sitting in a storage unit in Nevada, or invested in legitimate businesses under names nobody's ever heard of. Alan Pace is a free man now. He served his time, paid his debt, at least the debt the courts could calculate. Last anyone heard, he was consulting on a movie about his own heist, getting paid to tell the story of how he robbed Dunbar Armored. Hollywood came calling. Production companies wanted the rights. They wanted to know how 6 men from Compton pulled off the impossible. And Alan Pace, ever the professional, was happy to consult. For a fee, of course. When interviewers ask about the missing money, about where those $12 million went, Alan Pace just smiles. Some silences are worth more than confessions. The Dunbar facility on Mateo Street is gone now. Demolished, replaced by something else. But the questions remain. The money remains missing. And somewhere in Los Angeles, a man who was once invisible walks around knowing exactly where it is.